great, big, beautiful tomorrow, shining at the end of every day. There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a dream away.
Progress. Whether it be in the way that societal norms shift or technology advances, progress is always as inevitable as death itself. If anyone appreciated progress, it was the innovative animator Walt Disney. Walt was so fascinated with change and eager to rekindle his relationship with General Electric that he spearheaded a project for the World's Fair that would debut in 1964, simply titled The Carousel of Progress. This attraction, which would undergo several iterations across a handful of parks before finally finding its forever home at Walt Disney World, would follow John, a family man who would appreciate everything that the world had to offer technologically every few decades, with the bold declaration that there's a great big beautiful tomorrow. Beginning in the turn of the 20th century, John goes from being fascinated by 20-story tall buildings to a few decades later being excited that movies are going to have actors that can actually speak. The initial iteration of the Carousel of Progress goes until the 1960s, finishing with the aforementioned promise of the great big beautiful tomorrow. Naturally, as all attractions do, the Carousel of Progress would be upgraded throughout the years, with the most recent addition to the narrative being implemented in the mid-90s, where we see John Progress's father briefly reflect on the fact that somehow, once upon a time, there was a world without Laserdisc. What is meant to be a reflection on what is once again the turn of the century, this time being the 21st, brings something amazing to mind. The Carousel of Progress was always an appreciation of how far we've come technologically, but never acknowledges where we could go. And for an uninitiated adult visiting a park called Tomorrowland, it is slightly jarring. Walt Disney was no prophet. True prophets are not chosen by humanity. Think of how the Mayans prophesied that the world would end in the year 2012, a phenomenon so massive it was adapted into a Hollywood film in 2009. However, there is one group of prophets who, through an allegorical work, managed to accurately predict one of the greatest predicaments that only people who lived through both an economic recession and a global pandemic could find themselves in, that being the fight to preserve physical media. The prophets' names were anime director Mizuho Nishikubo and mangaka Masakazu Katsura, and the prophecy came in the form of their collaboration on the 1992 anime Video Girl Eye. You may think that this is a reach, and, well,
wrong!
To understand this prophecy, there are a few things that need to be covered.
Thank you for choosing my video.
Video Girl Eye is an anime based on the manga of the same name. It follows Yota Mochiuchi, a young man whose surname can be retranslated to what he is on a molecular level: dateless. Yota just had his heart broken and plays a VHS tape featuring a video girl, a girl whose primary objective is to help young men feel better. Yota got this videotape as a rental from a roaming magical video store that's essentially a traveling blockbuster for the brokenhearted. Through Yota's faulty VHS player, we are introduced to Ayamano, a girl who comes out of his TV and, due to the VHS's fritz, becomes averse to her programming. Rather than a kind, well-endowed woman who can cook amazing meals, Yota begins spending his time with a flat-as-justice, crass, and conventionally flawed woman. This woman is also existing on borrowed time, as once her playback is over, she will return to her tape. Ai promises to help Yota with his heartbreak, stemming from his crush, Moemi, being smitten with his best friend, Shenmue? Shenmue. Takashi. I will stop at nothing to help Yota get with his crush, not realizing that she's slowly breaking the number one rule of a video girl, falling in love. In her case, with Yota. This all culminates into a huge love polygon that has Yota realize his feelings for Ai and that Moemi was really never the girl for him. And finally, this teenager saves the hot girlfriend he rented from a roaming blockbuster from crucifixion.
You never forget your senior prom.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
To understand Video Girl I is to understand the issue that physical media enthusiasts have risen to fight for in the past decade. With the rise of streaming services such as Netflix and Prime Video, there too was a promise. You will never need to leave your home or buy anything other than a subscription to us to watch your favorite shows and movies. How dandy, right? No, not really. There are several people who can talk about how streaming is killing the movie industry and that which can be streamed will never be owned. And they're right. Between streaming and the COVID-19 pandemic, movie theaters are fighting like never before to stay relevant and afloat. But with the promise that you won't have to leave your home to watch your favorite movie, the less people who go to watch it in the theaters, the sooner it'll hit your streaming service. But here's what's most offensive about streaming services. You don't own what you're watching, and when it leaves, you're up the creek without a paddle. Or it stays as a platform exclusive, and as a result, you can't buy Little Witch Academia on Blu-ray despite it being one of your favorite shows. And that is the root of the streaming issue. Without ownership, what is media? What happens if it's lost to time, and all that's left is an anxious hope that it exists on the internet archive, or that John Progress's dad uploaded that Laserdisc copy of Boa to YouTube 5 years ago? Add potentially shoddy internet connections, or a platform straight up crashing, and you have the perfect disaster if you love TV. Streaming's promise seemed nice, but there was something foul about it that more people are catching on to. Like Ronald Reagan and from Chainsaw Man, it was not to be trusted. And it's not just about the love of the media itself, nor the idea of ownership. It's preservation of a history that means something to each individual that they refuse to let fade into obscurity. And in a century that John Progress, his dad, or their dog could have never predicted, one where agency has been stripped from so many people in ways that range from harmful to demeaning, where poverty and illness, war, racism, death, the suicide of children due to bullying and now AI chatbots, and a painful myriad of other horrors that society around the world suffer through, the normalcy and control over this one thing, the media that got collectors through the toughest times in their lives, there is still something to hold on to.
Wearing the clothes you gave me on the occasion of our first date.
For the whimsical turned cosmic horror story that Video Girl I is, everything that this video has led to points to an OVA being a prophecy, albeit an allegorical one. The issue that the group in the 2020s is facing, the preservation of physical media, is a direct mirror into Yota's relationship. Moemi, despite being Yota's crush, is toxic, needy, and oblivious to others' pain, especially Yota's, who does everything in his power to both help and please her. On the other side is I, the literal video girl. I loves Yota, is created to be a comfort to him, gets him through hard times, creates memories with him, almost all of which are extremely positive. Yota comes to need I more than anyone else, including Moemi, to the point where when he is faced with the opportunity to be with Moemi, he runs away to find I. This absurd teen romance is the perfect allegory for physical media enthusiasts. Moemi represents the streaming services that look beautiful but offer very little to the souls of collectors. I is the physical media, the video girl who Yota, the character meant to represent the viewer, comes to realize brings him the comfort and love that he needs, to the point where he brings harm to himself to save her from a combination recall and crucifixion, which represents the inherent need of this specific creature comfort. Blatant objectification aside, the parallels run so deep that I couldn't help but make this video. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to sleep. And while saying that Nishikubo and Katsura were prophets is an appropriate hyperbole, it is always neat when something old becomes something new. and Takashi is Shenmue. Thank you for watching this essay and spending time with me, and thank you to this video's Patreon patrons, Erica and Miles, for supporting me and making this video happen. Until next time, take care.